So welcome back. And if you're planning to immigrate to Finland for your studies, and we're talking about international students, especially if you're coming from countries like Kenya, because that's where I have an experience, is first of all, you have to apply for your studies. And for international students, it's usually, the application is once a year. In some areas, I think twice a year, but the biggest application period is the one that happens in January. And the application portal is only open during the application period. So that's like, it's usually like around 14 days and beginning of January. So, of course, we're in June. I know, I'm aware of that. But there are things that you need to prepare before you can start applying, so that when the application portal is open, you have everything ready for you to apply. So, what do you need for you to apply for the studies? So, the documents that you're going to need for applying. So, first of all, you need a passport. And as you know, in some countries like Kenya, you might have your passport take up to 3 to 6 months before you can get your passport. So, if you're planning to do the application in January, then start by applying for your passport. And once you have your passport, make sure that the passport is, or if you already have a passport, then make sure that the passport is valid for the entire time of your studies. So if your study period is 4 years, make sure you have at least 4 years for validity of the passport. Of course, in Finland, if you're from Kenya, there is a Kenyan Embassy in Sweden. Of course, it's quite expensive and a bit complicated. So basically, it's better to have your passport valid for the entire time of your studies, so that you don't have to travel to go and renew your passport. And for some studies, you need English proficiency testing. So you can do from TOEFL, you can do from IELTS, or you can get, I think nowadays they also accept from Duolingo. So confirm with the study info. I will share the link where you can get the information or the most current information about the English proficiency testing, so you don't miss out. So you can start check what kind of requirements is needed, and then you can start preparing. So you have at least 6 months to prepare for that. And remember that the English results, sometimes they take up to 2 to 4 weeks for you to get the results. So make sure that you do your exams way in advance, so that when January comes, you have your documents ready. Most people do them like in December, and then they're wondering, the application portal is now open, I don't have the results yet. And by the time the English results are coming out, the application period is closed. And once they close the portal, you cannot apply. You have to wait another 1 year. So that's why I'm doing this video in June, so people can actually prepare, those who want to come to Finland for their studies. And another thing that you need to prepare way in advance is your finances. Initially, Finland was offering free education, even for international students. And I am one of the beneficiaries, and I can say it was a lot of help. So you need, currently, these school fees for your studies, and they charge around 8,000 to around 13,000 euros per year. So that's 1 year. And if your studies is taking 3 years, 4 years, then you can calculate that and find a way of having the finances. It's quite a lot, especially if you're only planning to come and work so you can pay the school fees. It's too much. It's a lot, because at the same time, you need 6,720 for your upkeep per year. And the economy is really now quite different. The 6720 initially was enough. Actually, it was more than enough, but currently that money might not be enough for you for 1 year. So if you're working, then you might be able to get enough money for your upkeep. And also remember that there are so many factors. You may not find a job immediately you come here. For me, it took me almost 1 year to get a job when I came to Finland. So basically, you need the money in your pocket or in an account that you can access, so that you're able to survive until you get a job and get enough finances to keep you there. So, and also nowadays, the application itself, it's initially it was free, but now you pay, I think, around 100 euros for the application itself. And then once, if you're lucky and you get admission, then you have to pay for the residence permit for you to come here. And the residence permit is around 300 euros. So if you calculate all that, how much money, I will do a breakdown and show at least here how much money that you need. Roughly, that's approximately, because they're changing all the time. So it's an estimate of how much money that you need. So you really need 6 months is a very short time to try to make all that kind of money. And also you will be needing a bank statement, and the bank statement should have at least 6,720. That is like separate from the school fees. So if school fees is like 10,000, and so you need 16,720 in your account, and that's in euros. So you can convert to Kenya shillings and see how much money that you need in the account. But basically, what they need for the residence permit is the 6,720. So yeah, and the account has to be at least 3 months. It's a 3 months bank statement, or 3 to 6 months bank statement. So check on the details what exactly is needed. And also still related on finances, but slightly different, is the health insurance. You will need health insurance at least for 1 year, and you can get it online through Swisscare. And of course, there are other insurance companies from Finland, like Fenia and Pihlajalinna. You can also get from there. But the most accessible for international students is the Swisscare, because once you fill your details, you pay online, you get a PDF document which is acceptable for your application for the residence permit. And once you have all those things, you've already applied for the school and you've done the interviews. The interviews come around April, so the application is January, and then you get an invite for interview. And nowadays they do it online, so you get an interview time and the exam time. So it's like an exam. You do a written exam and then you do a discussion kind of interview as a group discussion. So they match you with many other students from other countries, and you do a kind of group interview. That was very new for me. For us, we did a physical interview. So we were like students from other countries like Cameroon. We had Nigeria, because they didn't have an exam center in their country. Uganda, Tanzania, all of us, we were in one sitting, and they give you a question to discuss, and you discuss among yourselves. So that was quite new for me. I thought it was like one-on-one, like you and the interviewer, but it was like a group interview. So you do that online, and yeah, I will share like the tips on how you can prepare for that interview. It sounds very easy, but that is the ultimate place where they select the students. So if you mess up, yeah, you lose, even though you have very high points from your application. And then book an appointment with the consular or the embassy, or the in Kenya they use the VFS Global in my pronunciation. Yeah, book an appointment early in advance, because the queues are quite long, because nowadays they handle, I think, for different countries also, so they have a very long queue. So create an application online and book an appointment immediately. Even though you don't have everything ready or the application ready, try to book the appointment in advance. And then as you wait for your time, you can now fill all the parts for your application form, and you will need to upload all the documents, or at least carry with you the documents that are required. That's your passport. You need a passport photo. You need the bank statement. You need, what else? Yeah, admission letter from the school. Yeah, etc. Yeah. So you book your appointment, and then you go, you book your appointment, apply for the residence permit, and then go for your biometrics. So they're going to take your fingerprints and, yeah, do a kind of interview on you and verify that the documents that you uploaded are the ones that you have with you. And then once you do the application online, then you just wait for the decision. And the waiting is not easy. It feels like it's forever. And every day you're checking your emails and checking your messages and wondering, when is the decision coming? And once the decision comes, you will either get a notification from your email or a message. Yeah, and that's the time when you receive that message. It's I think it will stay in my mind forever, because it was a text message, and it was saying like, you have a new decision from the immigration service from Finland. That's when you feel like you don't want to open that message, because you don't know whether it's granted or not granted or denied. So, and yeah, I think it took me at least 30 minutes to get some courage to open that portal to check what kind of decision they have shared. And yeah, I was very lucky that I got my residence permit on one try. Some people had to try like twice, 3 times. So of course it's very expensive. Every time you apply, it's 300 euros. So if you apply 3 times, that's 900 euros even before you start to travel to Finland. So I think that's really a lot. But if your dream is to come here, just fulfill the requirements, because they'll give you a reason why they didn't give you the residence permit. So if it's because of the finances, then that you can find a way and get some people to sponsor you so that you're able to come. But if the reason is something else that you cannot correct, then there is no use to reapply. Yeah, kind of. But of course, use your own judgment and see what will work for you. And once you get your residence permit, you book your flights and prepare to travel to Finland. So that's a whole process. And usually the studies, you apply in January, and the studies will start around August or September of the same year. So it's a whole kind of 8 months process. So yeah, start preparing now, and I wish you all the best as you prepare. If you have any questions, please share in the comment section, and please subscribe. You might get a few tips on how you can prepare for you to come to Finland as an international student, especially if you're coming from Kenya. I might help if you're from another country, but I have more experience if you're coming from Kenya. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.